Revolution, where we use what we got to get where we need to be. And today I'm joined by
Chandra.
Chandra?
I'm a Chandra.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like looking at that, I was like, how do you say that last name?
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. It's always been a name that has required some sharing. Yeah.
So, the first time, actually, this is the first time me and her met before.
Yes.
So, the first time I saw you was actually online. You were in a picture and you had a machete.
Okay.
So, can you tell me more about that picture? What was that idea behind that?
Wow. So, okay. One of the things that I can say about that particular image was it was a culmination of serendipitous connections. I have been making my way, moving, doing things in the city after what happened to me last summer. And in terms of that, I had an identity towards this warriorship. You know, I remember knives, cutting, protection, running, machete featured prominently in that. And so when I was preparing for a show, I was trying to consider imagery, and I ran into a friend of a friend, someone who I'd only just recently personally met, like you and I, but we were online, and I respected his work greatly. I didn't know that he held mutual respect for me. Like, I love what you do, and I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. And so he then, his name is Pierre Benu. They have a business, Exit the Apple. And he and his amazing lighting artist, I cannot remember his name. I see his face, I can't remember his name. I'm terrible. I need to get better at that. But they were really great. We had a great conversation. It was an easy visual. I was able to purchase that machete that morning because my machete was confiscated by the police.
Of course.
Yes. And so that's where that came from. It was ideas for a show, and we created art.
Yeah, what you were saying about the warrior thing, like, that's immediately what I thought. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to need this woman to be on my website. Like,
that's what's up.
I need it.
Awesome. Thank you.
But that's awesome about the machete thing. Because I also, of course, since it was the first time we met, I've been, like, stalking you via, like, in the internet, and I was like, okay, let me read everything about her. Okay.
I try to live my life in a way that I can answer questions.
So the thing about you is when I read about your story and everything, I was like, this is obviously a woman, well, I like to say woman, I'm going to say like warrior that has flourished despite the odds against her. So those were my thoughts about you. So that led me to like, okay, I definitely want to talk about like resilience.
Okay.
And how she bounced back despite, everything you had going against you.
Right.
So my first question links into also your music, because if you guys didn't know, she's also, how do you describe it? You describe it as jazz?
Well, it's kind of a fusion. Definitely has a lot of jazz elements because the artist, all of us have a deep appreciation for the style. I have not been long studied in it. Everyone who I'm working with has had a much deeper and longer, richer relationship with it. They're musicians, And so jazz coloring, real big part of it. But adding to that the whole neo-soul, the whole hip-hop, the whole very modern, the whole very influenced by people like Robert Glasper or Gretchen Parlato, or we're listening to Moonchild a lot, Hiatus Coyote. We're just, there's rock, there's Zydeco, there's earth, there's everything that we are in it, and it's cool. So it's kind of hard to name the genre, but I like to say that, for lack of a word, you can call it neo-soul, jazz, fusion, I don't know, but that's just all I'm going to give you.
She just sang, like, that's what she did.
Oh my, thank you.
So how does your music link into the journey of you finding yourself to help you, like, bounce back from, your situations or any kind of hardships?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I can say is that oftentimes we all may overlook our greatest gifts. Because oftentimes the things that are easy for us, we don't really acknowledge as a strength. And for me, that was music. I sang all my life. I sang all the time. I mean, music made me happy. I loved good music, I didn't really grow up on hip-hop, just call it to growing up in the country, in the South, small town. all we had was the radio, and they only played, you know, classic rock and whatever was PG, you know. And so growing up through the 80s and into the early 90s, music was a place of safety, refuge, enjoyment for me. I was in choir, you know, I was public school trained in terms of a lot of where I came from originally vocally. What I can say is that when my life was transitioning the first time, I've been through a series of transitions. I know that I'm resiliency. I've been through a series of transitions. So I would say that my divorce, you know, I lost someone I loved.
Mm-hmm.
That was really hard.
Definitely.
You know, to love someone and still walk away because you know it's not good for either of you. You know, and so during that process, I went to an open mic. Something to do. It was fun. I was nervous. I was like, you know, and then I did it again. It wasn't very frequent. My most favorite place to go was a place in the city called Organic Soul. It worked for my schedule with my children. I had a co-parenting relationship that meant that I always had Tuesday nights free.
Mm-hmm.
So I could always go without thinking about childcare. So I could just think about me. And I would go to Organic Soul, and I was with my brother. My brother was living with me at the time. And I remember when someone who is truly one of the big names, one of the big presence in the history of Baltimore and the art scene, James Collins. Mm-hmm. He, you know, founder, head of Blackout Studios. He was, you know, he was a face on the scene, and he was a face there at Organic Soul. And I remember him walking up to me one day and saying, "Hey, you're gonna start coming more than once a month?" And that began the shift of understanding that this thing that I enjoy, that brings me pleasure, that I enjoy and I want to share, is being received well in this environment. That gave me encouragement to go on. I always wrote. I was a poet forever. Mm-hmm. I'd been writing songs. Like my very first song was recorded in 2000 on a woman by the name of Queen Afua's CD. Some people don't know her. Some people know her. But it's on the same album as Erykah Badu. I'm proud of that. You know,
that's something to be proud of, definitely.
And I didn't sing it, but I wrote it. You know, and so that being said, you know, I was writing and I was performing and things were happening, and my life was still changing, and the thing I kept trying to let go of was music. I kept saying, man, I need to get out of this music thing. I need to just focus on my life and my job and be serious.
Music was like, no.
It was like, no. And when I say that it was like, no, it was like, I would go so sad, and I would say, I need this. And in saying that I needed this, I noticed that it made me decide to become bigger. This is something that I'm used to. With the different things that I'm used to from my childhood, from my marriage, from having multiple losses and pains and just dealing with that. I know what it means to say that you're going to have to get up. Mm-hmm. And that's your ability to get up really can be impacted by what you decide to lay down with. A lot of people lay down with some real ugly truths about themselves, and they keep them as the truth even though they're not the truth. When I began to get outside of what was apparent in my mind, I'm a failure, to this shit happens every day. Yeah. And I'm not the first woman, I won't be the last. How will I move through this? This is a part of my story. This is not my story. What shall it be? And the more I began to work with that particular mindset as a consciousness, the thing that held everything together magically was my music. A CD sell, here, gas in the tank, yo. I was hustling. I can't tell a lie. And I began to know that there was something happening. Like, I had created a space where there was none before. That was an interesting aspect of manifestation. So when it came down to these most recent traumas, when I laid in the bed with trying to have my son, my first child after 4 losses, I sang to him every day in the NICU. No CD, no album, no anything. And the memory of that experience color the song that's on my album. So where I am right now, I'm like shit. Like right now, I'm real clear that there's nothing that you cannot do if it is what you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to will some things into existence right now. But that's how the music has affected me. Even with this, so much has been born out of that experience.
What drives you to just keep on going and keep pushing forward?
I'll tell you. Ultimately, the shortest answer I can give would be my children and what I like to say, or I'm very specific about my legacy. When I decided even to enter into music, yes, when I decided to enter into music, it was after a retreat in Puerto Rico, sitting with these women, and the conversation was around, what is it that you could do if there were no obstacles or whatever. And I asked these women, I was facilitating, but I'm also a part. What do you think? I have the opportunity with this music. Should I do it or not? And of course, the same answer. Well, if you have a voice, if I could sing, I would do, and those things. And then someone said something that caught my attention, and she said, "What will your child think?" And for me, my child, who I've gone through and knew that I could have, and he's here. Yes, I will live my life boldly. I'm divorcing my husband. And she says this, and I say, I can't tell him he can be anything in the world and not have explored all the happiness that I can have. So I decided I would take my art seriously. That was action 1. Action 2, my son, I was reading him a story. He says to me, Mommy, I want to go up in a helicopter. And I'm like, I want to take you in a helicopter, honey. How will I take you in a helicopter? I don't know. The only way I can take you in a helicopter, man, I have to live a lifestyle that can afford me at least one opportunity.
Get you in the helicopter.
Get you in a helicopter, yo. Okay, interesting. Might be your 16th birthday. Who knows? We'll see. But, okay. Then, my daughter, when I got pregnant with my twins, it was a very difficult time for me.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my job. I lost my housing. I became very unstable. Very unstable. Very highly educated, but pregnant with twins. What could I do? And involved in a high-risk pregnancy of that. What could I do? Very minimal money, resources, whatever. Music and that whole aspect of, I got through this. So right now, for my children, for my legacy, the story that I had to share, hopefully the amazing things that other people can do who are inspired by what I do.
Mm-hmm.
People who say, yo, that chick did something, or who are doing their thing, and we just feel each other's stories, so that we feel each other, so they may feel like they can go on and I can too, because I met them and because they met me. I want to do good work, and that's my inspiration. I want my name to mean something.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, from what I've read about you, it seems like you're already doing that.
Well,
like,
I'm just I'm Chandra, I
know you want to keep on building on that legacy, but you're well on your way, though.
That's what's up. Thank you for that.
Okay, so what do you do to ensure that you're constantly growing and evolving?
Well, life has a way of making sure that you're constantly growing and evolving. I do mean that. Even down to great joy. Let's talk about great joy and your great good. A lot of people don't think that they can have truly anything that they want. Anything. However, there are rules to it. You can't have certain things at the same time unless you make something else happen that requires more work either way. And so, right now, as I am moving towards this idea of my great good, I'm sorry, I lost the question. Give it to me again.
What do you do to ensure that you're constantly growing and evolving?
So, life brings you shit sometimes.
Yeah.
And life brings you awesomeness that might still require your ass to grow. And I'm going to curse if that's okay.
It's okay.
Cool. So, because life does this for you, if you are applying your newfound knowledge of self about what certain truths are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is the truth? Like, for example, many people don't recognize, many people look at a lot of hardship from the place of something being done to them. Victimization is very rampant in our society. I get it. I do. But because of what has happened in my life, I find great strength in my ability to handle my shit and think of what I will do next time to ensure that that shit won't happen again. And also now paying attention to other people. So how do I ensure my continued growth? That means that when I'm always trying to perform, always trying to gig, I'm always having to see myself and balance my life with it. See myself, balance my life with it. See myself, where do we want to go? And I'm always being drawn by the next circumstance. My first, even entering into the music, was leaving my relationship. My next, depending on the music, was during the birth of my daughter. Then my next, finding out that my light was shining brighter than I knew in this thing. And then finding out that I'm actually able to do something and my voice can be heard. And wow. And now, oh my God, somebody almost killed me. And to come back from that experience, finding out that I'm loved. Well, shit, I'll do it then. Let's all go. And so in every day in life, now that I'm here, with these really strong ideas, there's meetings, there's work, I'm like, okay, I'm hating my job. I don't want to be there. There's so much work I want to do.
Oh, I know the
feeling. But I got kids.
Yeah,
we got to eat. So I went on long for that one, but that's okay.
It's okay. Okay, so if you do become overwhelmed, how do you manage to handle that stress?
If I do become overwhelmed, I have a word that has a phrase from India Arie song. I can't remember which one it is, but she said, acceptance without exception. For a period in my life, it forced me to swallow some truths that I didn't want to hear, didn't want to know about, didn't want to deal with. So now, when things occur, I have learned the value in accepting what I can change and working with my emotions around why I feel like I feel about the rest of it. Because if this is the best I can do, ain't no reason for me to be. Or if I listen to something and it's not the quality that I like, then I can, I have to look, I have to listen, I have to study, I have to refine this thing so that I can keep making it better, so that I can keep doing it more. So for me right now, even as I said, I'm tired of my job, right? I'm tired of my job. I love being a nurse. I would rather go to bedside once a shift than be caught up in the vigors of, it's a lot. I won't even talk about it. So that being said, right now, though, I got to handle that. That allows me to live my life freely so that I can put forward the foundation towards excellence. If I build something excellent, my belief is it will sustain itself and potentially grow in magnitude that will allow me to say, well, you know what, it's time for me to step into a different place. That requires supreme discipline right now. I have to accept that. I have to grow things. I have to carry through. I have to be on my stuff. I have to take care of my children. I have to have good routines. I have to be a healthy body. I have to practice my music. And I may not be able to do all of those things all at the same time, but they got to get in there. And as many things as I can make remote control, I do. So I work from home. Imagine that. I never have to go into my office except for me.
I need to do something like that.
It just, for me right now, I'm grateful. It happened because of what happened, and my whole job, I was out of work for 6 months. And now that I'm back at work, things are changing, so it's a lot of uncertainty just in the company. That makes it extra stressful. Who needs that? And now it's just like, handle it as they bring it to me. Otherwise, work on my shit. And that's acceptance.
And yeah, you talked about your healthy habits, and congratulations, I saw about your weight loss.
Thank you.
I was reading all that. What are you drinking? And I'm at work and I'm like trying to drink this little bit of water. I'm like, how does she drink all that?
Right now, I'm thirsty right now. Like seriously, I'm like, I need my bottle. Look at this way. I have always been into healthy living and healthy eating and healthy everything. Just like many people, I believe that's important. And I also had beliefs about what that looked like. The only way you can be healthy, it has to look this way. Mm-hmm. And, because I'm releasing a lot, I'm a habitual analyzer of myself. And so I often will remove beliefs that are no longer applying to me. So some of the things that I removed are like veganism and vegetarianism. Mm-hmm. Not that I won't ever go back to them, but at present, I found a formula that's working for me. I've been raw, I've been vegan, I've been vegetarian, I've been pescatarian. I started getting happy when I became what I like to call veggie-centric. Mm-hmm. Like where vegetables became the middle of my food. Spinach and everything, green shakes, salad where we can, lots of fresh vegetables, always fruit in the house. That kind of eating. Then when I began incorporating meat, I enjoyed meat. But I did not feel comfortable saying that out into the community because I held a belief that
she eat meat.
I know. Gosh. She like me. Because, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have had pork again. And it is good. And so, that being said, right now I'm on a program because there are certain things that I just want to do. Mm-hmm. I love to work out. I really do. However, my life is busy and sleep is necessary, and sometimes I don't get to bed till late. And the best time for me to work out is early morning. It costs me sleep. These are the fundamental changes that I made. Mm-hmm. Sleep, I get it. Water, I drink it. Isolation, I'm working to stop being alone. I'm working to make real strong human connections. I was hurt by some people in some circumstances and just really closed down for safety. It was safer that way. Mm-hmm. And now I am safe. I'm happy. There's a lot of really good things occurring in my world. So now let me make more good things occur in my world. And that's for my children and me. So I'm getting ready to sign up as a health coach where I will be leading people on this journey and supporting them, keeping myself accountable. I'm very well supported. And what if I'm able to lead some other people to a healthier way of living? What if that occurs? That would be a beautiful thing. I'd love to mention is Guerreras 2016. I'm starting a movement for other women like me who are bad, who are raising families, holding things down, who have, partners and real responsibilities, but they have a part of themselves that they've always wanted to express or they're limited in their ability. So what we're going to do on April 3rd, there's going to be a huge holdup. You're going to be able to go to my website, www.amachandra.com, www.amachandra.com for more details. Guerreras 2016. Thank you.